Well, it's a great day here in Colorado, not only because it's July in Colorado, but we've got the Bronco legend with us, Floyd Little. And so excited on this year to be talking with Floyd, going into the Hall of Fame, and just can't tell you how happy we are as Bronco fans that they finally got you in there.
Yeah, finally. I'm thrilled. It's been just a whirlwind for me. I've been everywhere as a result. At the draft, at all these tournaments, Emmitt Smith's tournament, Tom Coughlin's tournament, just come back from the Virgin Islands with about 250 kids in a life skills camp. It's been just absolutely fabulous.
So what fond memories do you have of those playing
days? I think one of the things I remember is how the fans, we had great fans. They had a Floyd Little day in 1972. We played Cleveland. And they just had everybody out there. It was a cold day, and I remember that. I remember the last game of that I played in Mile High Stadium. We played against Philadelphia. I scored a couple of touchdowns. At the end of the game, everybody carried me off the field. But I'll never forget, Bill Berge and Harold Carmichael came over to me and said, "We will miss you. You were one of the greatest players we ever played with and against, and we wish you all of the best in your new career." I mean, these are the kinds of things that I remember. I played with some great players, though. I played with, Billy Thompson for all my years, and he and I returned punts and kickoffs for the whole time we were here until Upchurch came and kind of assisted us. Played with Randy Gradishaw. I played with Tom Jackson. I played with a lot of future Hall of Famers, but they're just not getting the recognition. I played with Rich Jackson. I played with all of the guys except Carl Mecklenburg. All these guys are great players. Louis Wright, I played with Louis. He's a Hall of Famer. Dennis Smith's a Hall of Famer. Steve Atwater. I mean, the Broncos have produced some great football players, and they're all certainly worthy of being in the Hall of Fame.
Let's talk about current Broncos. Are you able to keep up with them at all, and what do you think about their potential here in 2010?
Well, one of the greatest things, I was at the draft when they drafted Tim Tebow. There's been a lot of discussion about Tim. Guys that never had a jockstrap or a chin strap is saying whether he could play or not. I mean, guys like Mel Kiper. I don't mind mentioning the name. But I was there when, with Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Jim Brown, Drew Brees, and Steve Young. We were all sitting in the green room. In the 25th pick, the Broncos chose Tim Tebow. To the man, each of them came to me and said, "What a great pick. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, what a great pick." Now, later I played in a golf tournament with Tom Coughlin. And Tom said to me personally, he said, "Floyd," he said, "I'm going to tell you something. The Broncos got the best pick in the draft, and I'll tell you why. I cannot prepare in 3 days against a guy like Tim Tebow. It will take too much time and effort. He's just got too many weapons. We can't defend him." This is coming from Tom Coughlin, a Hall of Fame coach. So I got to tell you, I think they got a good guy in Tim Tebow.
Now, being the great running back that you were, Sean Moreno, not a bad first year.
Yeah,
I think some people had high expectations. I thought pretty decent. What do you think he has to do to be more successful in 2010?
He's a great player. Of course, my favorite is Terrell Davis.
Yes.
But yeah, he's a great player. I've watched him play, and he'll do well with a couple more offensive linemen, a little help. I think he'll be a guy that's get on the mat.
Now, one thing I do see nowadays when people are playing, you see those running backs take 3 or 4 plays and they do one of these.
Yeah, no, that's not acceptable.
That didn't happen in your day.
No, we never raised our hand because we never might get a chance to get back in. But no, we played and we enjoyed playing. I played every down, and I played on special teams. But it's a conditioning thing. If these guys want to play consecutive long runs, they're going to have to work a lot harder and condition themselves to stay in the game a lot longer.
To our last section of this part of the show, we want people to learn a few things about Floyd Little that they didn't know before. So what was the best movie that you saw last year?
It was called The Express. It was the Broncos. No, it wasn't the Broncos, but it was a movie about
the Cleveland Browns.
No, it wasn't the Cleveland Browns. It was about Ernie Davis, the first African-American Heisman Trophy winner, who was recruited by Jim Brown, and Jim Brown recruited me. So it was a great emotional movie about what happened in the 50s and 60s and how difficult it was and how challenging it was for African Americans. And the movie was a great movie. It was done by John Davis, Marvin Davis' son, who lives in Denver.
Are you playing golf with us today?
I am, but this is very important.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for joining us.
This is very important. So, yeah, I think the movie depicted what it was like in the early years. And I experienced some of it when I played in the Sugar Bowl. So it was a great movie. It was an emotional movie. I saw 3 premieres, and I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, that's great. So what's it like to be recruited by the great Jim Brown?
Well, Jim recruited Ernie. Ernie Davis recruited me.
Okay.
So that's how the succession went, and we were a trio. They retired our jersey about 4 years ago, and it was the greatest thing ever. It was the first jerseys the Syracuse ever retired. But they will unretire it when my grandson comes. He's 5, and he'll be a Syracuse guy.
That's awesome. If you had your iPod with you, what would be the first song you'd want to hear?
I don't know. I'm a good Gladys Knight fan, so any Gladys Knight song would be my song.
All right. You had a day off. One thing you could do, anything you can do, what would you be doing on your day off?
What if I had a day off? I work in my yard. I need to work in my yard on my back porch. I need to stain my deck. That's what I do on my day off. But I haven't had one of those, so my deck's got to wait.
All right. Last question. If you were to line up your offensive fantasy team, what 2 receivers, what 2 running backs would you pick out of today's, out of the NFL today?
Well, I think Moshe Moreno would be one of the backs. I think he's a great back.
You're only allowed 1 Bronco. That's the rule, too.
1 Bronco.
So you've used your lifeline already.
Okay, now who else I got to pick for?
You got to get 1 more running back, 2 receivers for the best in NFL.
I think, well, I would have to go with, I can't go with another Bronco?
No, you only get 1.
Well,
who would you go with? All right,
it's going to be tough. I like the guy they left. I like Brandon Marshall, but Brandon had some issues. But he's a great player and probably will be a great player. But I like to see him be the kind of player he could be.
And what did you think of Josh McDaniels' handling of that whole situation?
I thought Josh did what he's supposed to do. You can't let the tail wag the dog. I'm 206 pounds. My tail is a pound. I'm never going to let a pound wag 206 pounds. So he did the right thing. He wasn't a team player. He did some things he shouldn't have done. Reflection on the team, reflection on himself. Josh McDaniel did exactly what I would have done.
And you were a 9-year team captain.
Yep.
What would you have done if a player on the team was kicking balls around and all that stuff?
It wouldn't have happened. I would have had to have a nice heart-to-heart with him. And if Josh wouldn't have fired him, I would have.
All right, so I'm going to let you get back to doing what you're doing. You have a great Hall of Fame trip coming up here.
Couple weeks.
And thanks so much for taking time.
You bet.
It's an honor. Floyd Little.
Okay.